The city council chamber fell into a hushed, expectant silence. All eyes turned to Leo Maxwell, an honest construction laborer, as he gripped the podium, ready to speak. A powerful real estate developer, Victor Thorne, watched him with a dismissive smirk, the air crackling with imminent conflict. Leo, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment, laid out his findings. He spoke of substandard materials in Thorne's new luxury high-rise, presenting diagrams and photographs that highlighted the dangerous shortcuts. His warning was clear. Future residents would be at risk. Victor Thorne erupted, his booming voice cutting Leo off mid-sentence. "A mere laborer," Thorne sneered. "Presuming to lecture me on construction? You're dismissed, Maxwell. Fired. Effective immediately." Gasps rippled through the chamber as Leo stood stunned, his quiet courage publicly crushed. Outside, the evening rain mirrored the storm inside Leo. Jobless, humiliated, he walked alone from City Hall, clutching his worn backpack. The public shaming echoed in his mind, stripping away his livelihood and leaving him adrift in a sea of despair. In their small apartment, Leo forced a smile for Clara, his younger sister. "Everything's fine," he lied, but her perceptive eyes saw through the facade. "Are you okay, Leo?" she whispered, her concern a heavy weight on his already burdened spirit. The next morning, harsh light revealed a stack of overdue bills on their kitchen table. Leo's hands trembled as he stared at them, the truth of his stolen job and shattered security pressing in. Thorne's cruelty had not just fired him, it had stolen his hope. Maya Sharma sat in a back row, a quiet shadow amidst the murmuring crowd. Her eyes, sharp and unflinching, followed Victor Thorne's every sneering word. Then, Leo Maxwell slumped shoulders. She watched the raw humiliation unfold, a silent witness to the chilling abuse of power. This wasn't just a confrontation, it was a story, a pattern of injustice she knew too well. Her discreet notepad remained closed, but the scene was etched into her mind. Outside the city hall, the rain continued its relentless assault, mirroring the storm within Leo. He walked, head down, the city lights blurring through the downpour. A figure emerged from the shadows. A woman with determined eyes. Maya Sharma approached him, her movements calm, purposeful. She extended a hand, placing a small business card into his wet palm. Leo, dazed and defeated, barely registered the gesture, his mind too numb to grasp its significance. The next morning, the business card lay on Leo's worn kitchen table, a crisp rectangle of possibility amidst a sea of overdue bills. He picked it up, his thumb tracing the words, "Maya Sharma, investigative journalist." A hollow laugh escaped him. How could one man, a fired laborer with nothing but his word, stand against a titan like Victor Thorne, who could buy his way out of anything? The hopelessness pressed in, threatening to drown the tiny flicker of curiosity within him. He looked at the card again, then at Clara's cheerful drawing taped to the fridge. Thorne's booming voice, a burning ember, echoed in his mind, searing him with shame. But then he thought of the future residents, of other silenced workers. It wasn't just about him anymore. It was bigger. His hand trembled, but his resolve solidified. He took a deep breath, the sun starting to stream through the window, and with a new light in his eyes, he dialed the number. A few days later, in a quiet coffee shop, Leo recounted his story to Maya Sharma. She listened intently, her gaze steady, her pen scratching notes on a pad. She didn't offer pity, but validation. "You were brave, Leo," she said, her voice firm. "And you weren't wrong." She then outlined the path ahead, a labyrinth of journalistic inquiry and potential legal avenues, a plan taking shape with every word. Leo felt a cautious optimism bloom. Their work began in earnest. Leo provided Maya with every detail, his meticulous notes from the construction site, photos of the substandard materials, his first-hand accounts of Thorne's shortcuts. Maya, a whirlwind of efficiency, cross-referenced city archives, building codes, and supplier invoices. They worked late nights in Leo's small apartment, blueprints spread across the table, two unlikely allies meticulously building a case, piece by painstaking piece. Late one night, hunched over her glowing computer screen in her home office, Maya found it. Official documents detailing material orders for Thorne's new development. They showed clear discrepancies, cheaper materials purchased than specified in the approved plans. Her breath hitched. The scale of Thorne's deception was far greater than she had initially imagined. She grabbed her phone, her fingers flying to dial Leo's number, a breakthrough on the line. High above the city, in an office of polished steel and panoramic glass, Victor Thorne surveyed his empire. He dismissed a minor news alert about community concerns with a wave of his hand. That laborer, Maxwell? A disgruntled fly to be swatted, already forgotten. Thorne reviewed new business deals, secure in his power, his wealth, and his absolute invincibility. He believed he was untouchable, utterly oblivious to the quiet storm gathering beneath his feet. The city woke to a new kind of dawn. On every newsstand, across countless coffee shop tables and flooding online feeds, Maya Sharma's investigative exposé screamed its truth. Thorne's folly, whistleblower exposes substandard materials in city's newest development. The headlines were bold, the evidence damning, detailing Leo Maxwell's courageous claims and the initial proof of Victor Thorne's dangerous shortcuts. A collective gasp rippled through the city, quickly followed by a furious murmur. Conversations erupted. Outrage ignited. The truth was out. The city would never be the same. Miles above the brewing storm, in his opulent office, Victor Thorne exploded. The newspaper lay shredded on his polished desk, the words "Thorne's folly" mocking him. "Find him! Discredit him! Destroy them both!" he roared, his face a road map of bulging veins, spittle flying as he slammed a fist. His assistant, pale and trembling, scurried to obey. Within hours, Thorne's vast PR machine churned out a vicious smear campaign. News channels flashed headlines: "Disgruntled laborer seeks revenge," "Whistleblower's claims debunked." The powerful fought back with a vengeance. But Thorne's onslaught only amplified the truth. At a hastily organized community meeting, the hall buzzed with indignant energy. Inspired by Leo's courage, other construction workers, their faces etched with similar fears, stepped forward. "He's right," one whispered, then louder. "Thorne cut corners on my last project too." Another revealed hidden photos. Community members, now terrified for the safety of their future homes, added their anxious voices. Maya, calm and focused, guided their testimonies, a growing pile of evidence forming a bulwark against Thorne's lies. One voice sparked a movement. Now, many stood with him. Back in his quiet apartment, Leo felt the weight of it all. The media attention, Thorne's attacks, the sheer scale of the fight. It was overwhelming. He stared out the window, the city lights blurring. Clara, sensing his turmoil, gently touched his arm. "You're doing the right thing, Leo," she murmured, her voice soft but firm. "You're protecting people." Her simple words cut through the noise, reminding him why he had started. Not just for himself, but for her, for everyone. He squeezed her hand, a single tear tracing a path down his cheek. He was scared, but he wouldn't break. Days later, in a bustling legal office filled with stacks of documents, Leo and Maya sat with pro bono legal counsel. The air was thick with purpose. Together, they filed a comprehensive whistleblower complaint, a meticulous document detailing every allegation, every piece of evidence, demanding an official inquiry. The legal team, their faces grimly determined, explained the next steps. Leo listened, a quiet resolve hardening his gaze. Outside, a flurry of flashing cameras captured the moment the formal complaint was delivered. The gloves were off. The legal fight was on. The story dominated news cycles. Leo, despite his reluctance, found himself on television, his calm, firm statements contrasting sharply with Thorne's bluster. Maya, articulate and impassioned, explained the evidence. Talk shows debated. Social media feeds exploded with trending hashtags demanding #JusticeForLeo and #ThornyAccountability. Public opinion, once divided, now coalesced into a powerful force against Thorne. Protests erupted outside his properties. The world was watching. Thorne's empire, once seemingly impregnable, was crumbling under the weight of public scrutiny. In his high-rise office, now a chaotic mess of discarded papers and cold coffee cups, Victor Thorne paced furiously. "They're pulling out! Every damn one of them!" he shouted into his phone, his voice ragged with desperation. Investors, spooked by the media storm and the mounting evidence, were abandoning ship. Projects were halted. his public image in tatters. His lawyers, no longer dismissive, delivered grim assessments. "The evidence is substantial, Mr. Thorne. This isn't going away." Thorne's empire, built on greed, was beginning to shake, the walls closing in. The eve of the hearing was quiet. In a small, rented meeting room, Maya and Leo reviewed his testimony one last time. "Just speak your truth, Leo," Maya said, her voice reassuring. "With the evidence we have, your honesty is your greatest weapon." Leo nodded, a quiet strength settling over him. He wasn't just a construction laborer anymore. He was a voice for the voiceless, a protector of his community, of Clara. He felt ready. The final battle approached. He was ready. The air in the formal hearing room was thick with anticipation, heavy with the weight of public expectation. Every seat was filled, every eye fixed on the central figures, Leo Maxwell, calm but resolute, and Victor Thorne, who still carried a veneer of smug confidence. This was it. The moment of truth. The presiding official cleared their throat, their voice cutting through the tension like a knife, marking the beginning of the proceedings that would decide the fate of a city's future. Thorne's high-powered legal team wasted no time. With practiced ease and aggressive rhetoric, they launched into their defense, attempting to dismantle Leo's credibility. They dismissed his concerns as the disgruntled ramblings of a fired laborer, twisting facts and attacking his character with a slick, dismissive charm. Victor Thorne himself watched on, a faint smirk playing on his lips, convinced his money and influence would once again prevail. He would stop at nothing to win. Then it was Leo's turn. He walked to the witness stand, a quiet strength in his posture, the spotlight unforgiving. He spoke not with anger, but with an unwavering honesty that pierced through the room. He detailed his observations, the substandard materials, the blatant disregard for safety, his public humiliation, and the profound fear for the future residents. His voice, though soft, resonated with such raw conviction that a hush fell over the room. Even Victor Thorne, usually impervious, shifted uncomfortably, a flicker of discomfort crossing his face as Leo's truth echoed louder than any lie. Following Leo's powerful testimony, Maya, Sharma, and the legal team rose. Their presentation was a masterclass in irrefutable evidence. Internal memos, expert engineering reports highlighting structural deficiencies, and corroborating witness accounts from other brave laborers were projected onto a screen, one after another. Maya's calm, precise voice laid out the facts, painting a damning picture of Thorne's fraud and negligence. Thorne's face, once confident, turned ashen, his panic growing visible with each undeniable piece of proof. The weight of the evidence was crushing. Victor Thorne's composure, so carefully maintained, finally crumbled. His arrogant posture gave way to slumped shoulders, his eyes darting frantically between his lawyers and the stern faces of the panel. Whispers of righteous indignation rippled through the public gallery. The Titan, who had seemed untouchable, was visibly reeling, his empire beginning to shake beneath him. Justice, it seemed, was finally coming. Moments later, the presiding official delivered the verdict. Decisive, unambiguous. The court ruled in Leo's favor, ordering significant damages and fines against Thorne. More crucially, all of Thorne's current projects were halted immediately for comprehensive safety reviews, and he faced further, sweeping investigations into his business practices. A quiet exhale escaped Leo's lips, a wave of relief washing over him. Maya clasped his arm, a proud smile on her face. Thorne sat stunned, defeated, his world collapsing around him. The truth had prevailed. Stepping out onto the courthouse steps, bathed in the afternoon sunshine, Leo felt a lightness he hadn't known in months. Clara, her eyes shining with adoration, ran to him, grasping his hand tightly. Maya stood proudly by his side. He was no longer the powerless laborer, publicly shamed. His dignity, he realized, had never truly been lost. It had been fought for, reclaimed, and now shone brighter than ever. This courageous stand had not only saved a city from potential disaster, but had opened a new path for Leo, a path filled with purpose and integrity. Friends, if this story stirred something within you, if it reminded you that even the smallest voice can echo louder than the wealthiest roar, then please show your love and support. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to American Folktales. These stories live on because of you. reminding us that one brave act of standing up can truly inspire monumental change in the world. Your voice matters. What will you stand up for?